Dbmb continues to reign as king. He's defeated one challenger off to a pretty promising start against Antilles. Now his next challenger is going to be a little more scary though, CaptainSPrice. CaptainSPrice has probably been one of the most prolific participants in this tournament that I can think of. He has challenged and dethroned Red Wings. He has challenged well, he won a power struggle. I guess he's only dethroned one king. He won one power struggle, so he's been king twice. He's going to take a third shot at it. He was dethroned by OMG Pop, so Folks Grenadiers taking control of the strategic point right there. Stern Pioneers taking control of the munitions. Folks Grenadiers making their way over to the right side to take control of that fuel. These Folks Grenadiers grabbing the victory point right there. And for game one, Dbmb Axis First has chosen Upper Commando West, and CaptainSPrice's response to that was Rifle Company. So that's pretty interesting. We've never seen CaptainSPrice play U.S. forces at all, I don't think. I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm actually really curious about this. Rifle Company from CaptainSPrice. Okay, I'll get rid of it. And, Riflemen will be forced to retreat here in the south, I think. Folks Grenadiers trying to take Riflemen fire. When the Riflemen switch targets, Stern Pioneers will close into short range. The engagement is 1. Superior numbers. Riflemen take out 1 Stern Pile model before losing 2 models themselves. Nothing too serious. It's the only lethal engagement so far. Price making a play for the cutoff right here. And the Kuba wagon is going to suppress Price's Riflemen. There they go. To protect the cutoff.
We're losing a capture point. Our supply line just got cut off.
4th squad of Riflemen in production, so Price may be thinking Captain tier, which is pretty typical for Rifle Company. He's not really making any progress on the right half of the map yet with the Kubel protecting. Dbmb is also going to go mechanize regiment headquarters. It's in production now. Stern Pioneers have pulled back for some reinforcement. Riflemen have also been reinforced, making their way back to the front lines. Curious what CaptainSPrice is going to do about that Kubel wagon. If you can get a good close range flank with rear echelon troops, you could try to ghost it to death with tank traps. Otherwise, it'll be very hard to flank just with infantry, since Riflemen don't have anti-tank grenades until they start getting some vet. It's interesting to see him go Rifle Company, but field only normal Riflemen. No elite rifles for the anti-tank grenade early on against that Kubel. So, interesting choice. Grenade toss on those rifles. Ooh, that was nasty. I thought in green cover they'd be a little more protected, but I think only a couple models actually had green cover. This little mini haystack over here only provides yellow cover. Pretty brutal grenade. We'll be forced to retreat from that engagement. These 2 squads need reinforced here in the base. The squad of Folks Grenadiers retreating as well. Price wants to set up some kind of flank on this Kubel. Riflemen going very far north. Stern Pioneers catch them. Kubel is pulling back to safety a little bit. Riflemen moving towards the center VP with 2 squads still reinforcing in the base. This is unlikely to go too far, but I think he might be able to decap this point. Maybe. Not quite. Stern Pioneers make it into the capture circle, and the Riflemen are suppressed and will be forced to retreat. They do drop 2 models, however. Meanwhile, the 2 reinforced squads of Riflemen will retake control of the left side cutoff. This squad of Riflemen working on the center VP. Rear echelon troops. I don't think even full health rear echelons can win against a 2-man squad of Sturms. Maybe. Probably not. Nope, they will be forced to retreat. Rear echelons suppressed will be also forced to retreat. And these Riflemen are making their way over towards the center. Lieutenant
Standing by.
fielded.
We're getting plastered over here. Keep the pressure up. Area secured.
Our rifle squad will retreat away from the Kuba wagon. It's fallen to about half. It's going to receive some repairs soon. Stern Pioneers, currently reinforcing on the base, need to make their way back to the front lines. And the flak half-track is in production, which may perform pretty well. Against this sheer quantity of riflemen, I guess we'll see. See exactly what Captain Price does. Getting himself an ambulance now. Having gone Lieutenant tier, he does not have bazookas on the captain. He does not have access to AT guns. So we'll see what he decides to do. Riflemen suppressed by the Kuba wagon in cover, with Volksgrenadiers on their flank, will be forced to retreat soon. These two squads making their way around the north flank to try and harass the cutoff once again. Volksgrenadier squad on the left side won't be able to make it too far if these riflemen just remain in green cover. Lieutenant going for the cutoff. Stern Pio is moving to respond. They're a little wounded, approaching from open ground. He needs the suppression to kick in from that Kuba wagon's next burst. It's not happening though. Stern Pios might die just as the lieutenant's standing there. Okay. He does finally get suppressed and has to retreat away from the flak half-track, which has hit the field, and it looks like he should be able to round the corner and get back home safely. Over here, riflemen are engaging Volksgrenadiers at this range. I think the riflemen win, maybe? I don't know if all 5 models have cover. They're off to a good start in that engagement, though. Kuba wagon moves to assist from the right flank, and flak half-track is in the retreat path, so he will get out of there. And Captain Price just unlocked bazookas and buys a bunch of them. Nice. Nice adaptation to the fact that his opponent went Mechanized Regiment headquarters and he did not go Captain tier. He gives him access to some light anti-tank pressure to apply to that flak half-track without having to tech to Captain. Wow, he bought a lot of them too. He bought 4, I think. 1 on each squad. Not as many as I thought. I thought he doubled up on these squads, but he actually just bought 1 on each of these squads. So every single one of these squads has 1 bazooka, including the lieutenant who has the Thompson and BAR. So pretty diverse loadout of weapons on that lieutenant squad. Gonna heal up here by his ambulance before making his next push. Dbmb might be overextending a little bit. That flak half-track placement might prove to be vulnerable. Rear echelon's absorbing all fire from the flak half-track. 2 bazooka hits connect. Huge hits on the flak half-track. That desperately needs to pull back to safety. This blob of riflemen is advancing and nothing can stop it. Especially not a Kuba wagon or flak half-track. All of Dbmb's forces will be forced to retreat here, taking huge damage. That Kuba wagon is not going to survive if it tries to beat this. It needs to get out of there. Why isn't it moving? Bazooka shot does not connect. Both bazooka shots miss. Kuba wagon barely gets away. Moving up the right side, riflemen will take control of the center VP and munitions. Lieutenant grabbing the strategic point. Riflemen on the cutoff here will deny fueling. Come from the left side fuel point as Volksgrenadiers attempt to harass it. And Price has now gone Captain, so he's gone Lieutenant and Captain. Doubling down on those officers. Dbmb moving to take building control over here on the right side to try and engage a little more cost effectively. Volksgrenadiers must retreat from the left. Riflemen will be able to get that area under control. Lieutenant moving up on the right side to assist. Flak half-track moves up to engage 1 squad of bazooka-equipped riflemen, and they are forced to retreat. Price now has 2 more bazookas on the field. The sheer quantity of bazookas may make it very difficult to keep these light vehicles alive. And even if he can keep them alive, they're unlikely to do all that much meaningful damage. Lieutenant still has that bazooka. Why isn't he retreating though? That was a late retreat. I don't know if he's going to get away. Run, Lieutenant! No! Squad wipe. Lieutenant is dead. He has access to Lieutenant tier vehicles, but the Lieutenant himself is dead and he lost that bazooka. Bit of an investment gone. He's actually going to repurchase the Lieutenant. He seems to want to be able to keep that BAR and Thompson squad alive without having to unlock BARs. It is 300 manpower to replace him, though. That's a pretty expensive unit to repurchase. So that hurts. Price got a little too greedy trying to deal damage to that flak half-track at close range with that lieutenant. Riflemen still have bazooka over here to try and do what they can at range. Gonna take damage from that flak burst. 2 more rifleman squads moving up. There's an MG-34 on the field to try and suppress Price's infantry formations, and I think Price may need to make use of smoke to close the distance if he can't set up a tighter flank. Here in the north, Volksgrenadiers tossing a grenade at the captain. Nice dodge. Rifleman moving up into close range will easily win that engagement. Kuba wagon available to support though, so he needs to move back into some cover. Flak half-track also moving to support is going to get a little close to this bazooka blob. Flak half-track shots cannot go through this hedge. They can destroy the hedge eventually. Flak half-track exposing itself a little bit. If it takes engine damage, it could go down. Flamethrowers upgraded on these bazooka-equipped squads. Having a flamethrower and a bazooka will make them very generalist. Very good at medium range against all targets, infantry and vehicles alike. That squad has to retreat. This squad also has to retreat. Grenade over the hedge! Nice dodge. He does notice in time and gets away. No serious losses. His lieutenant's back on the field but has not been freshly equipped with a bazooka. Purely an anti-infantry squad right now. Dbmb maintains control of the victory points somewhat. Neither player seems to be able to really get onto the other side of this road. The map continues to be split in half vertically. Volksgrenadiers working on the strategic points up here. Sturm Pioneers moving to do the same. And there's a 5th rifle squad from Captain Price who's going very hard into infantry. No team weapons at all. Captain moving with these forces. If he can get a full volley of bazookas to connect that Kuba wagon, it will be destroyed. Don't know if Dbmb is going to let that happen though. He's got Volksgrenadiers effectively screening to provide vision so it can fire at maximum range. The entire blob there will get suppressed. 1 bazooka shot connects, but it's already done its job. The entire blob is suppressed and a grenade will force the retreat. Nice positioning on the Kuba wagon with Volksgrenadiers screening to win that engagement. More riflemen moving up. Now that Price knows about the positioning of that Kuba wagon, he's going to split his forces a little bit more. Over here on the right side, a lieutenant does have smoke grenades. Grenades have been teched by Price. He's going to make his way up the right side with those rear echelon troops. Lieutenant smokes the MG, but he goes back to microwing this engagement for now. Oh, those Sturm Pios might go down! They get saved by the flak burst right there. Those 2 squads got suppressed really quick. Sturm Pios get away by a hair. Over here on the right side, Lieutenant moves up into close range against those Volksgrenadiers with their Panzer Schreck. He gets suppressed, will be forced to retreat by the MG. This rifle squad also forced to retreat by Dbmb's 2 light vehicles. Dbmb pretty okay for map control. He's lost control of the right side fuel point though. He's gone into tier 2. He's kind of gonna delay any real strong late game stuff. If he goes Jagdpanzer for protection against Captain Price's Stuart, he may find himself struggling against the sheer quantity of bazookas. Bazookas aren't that great against the Jagdpanzer, but with this many of them, they'll take it down eventually. If Stuart manages to shell shock any of Dbmb's vehicles, he may really struggle. He's got to be very careful when dealing with these giant hordes of infantry. Look how many squads Price has. 7 infantry squads that are combat capable, plus a capping squad. Compared to Dbmb's 4 combat capable squads, 2 and 3 team weapons. He's got to make very good use of his light vehicles in all engagements. If his light vehicles go down, he'll be at a huge disadvantage. Flamethrower engaging the machine gun in the church, brings it very low, will be forced. What is that flak half-track doing? What was that maneuver? He pops smoke in desperation. There's a Stuart there, there's the shell shock. I'm pretty sure that thing is done. It's going to take engine damage for sure. I don't think Dbmb is even going to try to save it because there's no way that it can survive. Horrible maneuver because of that smoke grenade. It automatically passed through the smoke and it dies. 1 micro mistake and the flak half-track goes down. Raketenwerfer in the house snipes the Stuart at range though. That's a good trade, sort of. I mean, the Stuart's job is already done. I doubt Captain Price even cares that it's dead. It did the one thing he needed it to do. The flak half-track is cleared off the field, and now Dbmb will have to contend with this giant rifle swarm without that really powerful damage source. He could not afford that loss. Honestly, if he goes Jagdpanzer now, I'm sure Price will just make more infantry. Captain on the left side retreats from the MG34 right there. This squad of Volksgrenadiers is going to get blobbed. Kind of a late retreat. They're going to get chased down. Flamethrower in the retreat path. They're already pretty low. I think they're going to get away with more infantry moving up the screen. A lot of manpower being dropped on that Pack 43. I don't know if that's a good decision. If Price, look at that aggressive placement. Price could clear that out with riflemen if he doesn't get screened away by MGs, which will be very hard to do since he has tons of smoke. His lieutenant and all 5 rifle squads have access to smoke grenades. 2 MG34s will be very difficult to position in a meaningful way. That Kubelwagen's probably not going to last long against this force either. Captain Price needs to spread out a little bit and get the left side back under his control. He's sending 2 squads this time so that he'll have access to smoke and potentially on me if that captain could just get a little bit more veterancy. 1 machine gun will not be able to protect the left side by itself. More smoke being deployed. Try and give the riflemen some space to move up and push Dbmb off of the map. The right side fuel points being taken. Right side bazooka squad moving up to take control of that strategic point over there.
We're goddamn pinned over here! Contact! Enemy MG! Ready for losing a capture
Price
point.
deploying smoke on the left side and will be able to get this territory back under his control. Forces a retreat and should be able to take control of the entire area quite quickly. A couple of Price's squads retreated back towards his ambulance, so he may give Dbmb a little bit of space to breathe briefly while he reconstitutes his forces, but he has gotten a lot of map control.
God damn it! Someone get us out of here!
Price needs to retreat. That squad is so low. I don't even know if they're going to get away. He should have retreated ages ago. I don't know why he jumped in that house. If the flamethrower pops, that squad's done. It looks like they're going to get away. Barely.
All done over here.
3 squads healed up by the ambulance, making their way to try and make something happen. Without support from the rest of Price's army, I don't know what they're going to be able to do. The 2 MGs plus Kubelwagen can definitely stop a 3 squad push. He needs to bring more forces to bear. His captain's still tied up on the left. That squad's still tied up on the left. These 2 squads tied up by the ambulance. These 3 squads in green cover. Lieutenant moving to engage Sturms in this side engagement. Price does have grenades, but not a lot of munitions to spare, so he needs to think carefully about exactly when to toss grenades and for what purpose. That lieutenant has to retreat despite his green cover positioning. Price probing a little bit of Dbmb's territory, but ultimately making very little progress. Dbmb has gone Jagdpanzer and Pack 43, which means that it's probably almost pointless for Price to even make tanks. He can probably be fine just making infantry since he doesn't need tanks to be able to contend with Dbmb's infantry forces. He can just continue with infantry for now and probably be pretty much fine. A King Tiger's not going to arrive for an extremely long time. Volksgrenadiers working on this rifleman squad over here on the right side will eventually force a retreat. There they go. Riflemen moving up on the Kubelwagen, try and land a bazooka shot, I think. I'm not sure if this squad has a bazooka. I guess not. They'll be forced to retreat once they get pinned. Rear echelons also being forced to retreat. And it looks like Price is going to make a slightly more earnest push next, collecting a really big force of infantry here in his base. The captain maintaining a very light defense of the left, with the Sturm Pioneers make their way over there. He's probably going to get pushed away. The Thompson model is still alive for anti-infantry, but without bazooka snipes, I don't think he can beat Sturm Pioneers in a one-on-one engagement, especially since they're fully healed. 173 for Captain Price, 175 fuel for Captain Price right now. He's unlocked Easy 8s. I don't know if he wants to make them though. He's made 2 more rifle squads since I last checked. He's now up to 7 rifle squads plus his 2 officers. Trying to spread his forces out a little bit, maybe get in range for a smoke grenade. There it goes. 2 smoke grenades just to be safe. Lieutenant is pinned, but this entire force unleashes some flamethrower damage on those Folks Grenadiers. The machine gun has to pull back to safety. The Kuba wagon has to pull back to safety. Whoa, that bazooka hit! What was that? That bazooka shot just killed 3 models. Those Folks Grenadiers should probably pull back too. On the left side, the captain got wiped by Sturms. He wasn't watching the engagement. But if he picks up some squad wipes right here, including the theft of that MG34, possibly wiping that squad, it'll probably be a good trade. Lieutenant moving up in this area. That Folks Grenadier squad is kind of weirdly positioned. S-minefield on the victory point, but it's not complete, and he will be able to get that captured as long as he doesn't step across it. He should be fine. Price has not stolen the machine gun. I'm not sure if he plans to. He's moving up to engage the Kuba wagon. Probably going to try and take that thing out if he can. Bazooka shot's not really connecting. Flamethrowers going in on those Folks Grenadiers, bringing them low. They have to retreat. Price makes a full retreat after overextending ever so slightly, and he will not secure the MG34. And I'm actually kind of curious as to why this and this have not been salvaged. Dbmb's map control isn't that great, and I think that the tiny amount of green cover that they might provide is not nearly as valuable as the 10 fuel he could secure from salvaging those. Rifle squads over on the right side taking control of the strategic and fuel points.
Let's go. This lousy all done over here. What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits? Gather round. Green is green. I smell orders.
A couple of squads over here by the ambulance need to reinforce and heal.
You ready to roll out?
And there's an Easy 8. Oh no, that Easy 8 just caught that Jagdpanzer so out of position. There is a Panzerschreck blob though. I think that Easy 8 might go down. All shots penetrating against the Jagd though. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. There it goes! There it goes! That was a good trade. He's gonna lose the Easy 8, but I don't know if that matters that much. With the Jagdpanzer dead, more Easy 8s can be fielded. He has huge map control. The loss of his Easy 8 isn't really that big of a deal. And since 3 Folks Grenadier squads are tied up on the right, he has no protection against this huge rifle blob over here. Those 3 Folks Grenadiers are not available to screen. They're not available to stop this with some grenades or something. And that machine gun in the house just got melted. This Kuba wagon's probably going to get burst down with bazooka shots any second. Or not, or he'll just rotate to the Pack 43. That'll be a pretty easy pickup. He can probably destroy the gun entirely, depending on how many bazookas he's got in the mix. I don't know, maybe not that many. Has to retreat 1 squad, recover the bazooka. He is suppressed by an MG34 over here, but it doesn't matter. Great engagement for Price. Killed a Jagdpanzer, killed an MG, lost nothing, I don't think, except the Easy 8. And the fact that his opponent has 12 fuel coming in and he's got 36 means that he can keep up Easy 8 production a lot faster than his opponent can keep up Jagdpanzer production. And he's going to start having scary tanks. We're going to look at a tier 4 structure going up from Dbmb here to try and protect his cutoff and potentially give him access to Obersoldaten or something that can contend with 7 rifles. There's the next Easy 8, like I said, hitting the field way sooner than Dbmb's next vehicle, especially since he just dropped 80 fuel on this thing. Stern Pioneers trying to work on the right side fuel, left side fuel being harassed by those Folks Grenadiers. If that Easy 8 gets the top mount machine gun upgrade, it'll probably be quite strong. Shrek shot just bounced off the frontal armor right there. They're going to be forced to retreat, and the fuel is momentarily in Dbmb's control, but I'm sure Price will move to get that with the Easy 8 crew. Easy 8 crew pops out, and they're going to get that taken. Squad's reinforcing here by the ambulance. And he's got 1 bazooka squad here in that building. There's a flamethrower on the squad as well, so if anything gets too close, it'll take pretty serious damage. Grenade into the house. Price will dodge, monitoring the engagement. House is about to be destroyed. It'd be very dangerous to get inside of that with the bunch of bazookas and flamethrowers on the field. Stern Pioneers getting it to dangerously close range. Against that flamethrower, they will be forced to retreat. Folks Grenadiers probably shouldn't be in that house either. But Price will retreat his one screening squad of riflemen right there. Looks like Price wants to make a big push from the left. It will get shut down if he doesn't spread his forces out, though. He doesn't know about the tier 4 structure. If he blobs right into that, it's going to be problematic. I don't know if he has enough bazookas in here to brute force that structure down. It's kind of hard to count. Smoke grenade. Easy 8 diving the base. Whoa, Price is gonna walk straight into the base? What is this maneuver? Easy 8 working on the rear base defense. This one gets cleared out pretty easily by flamethrowers, I think. It's gonna take a little while to finish that off. One squad of riflemen has to retreat because of the tier 4 structure, but the rest make it inside quite easily. That structure's cleared. That one's destroyed. Price working on tech structures now. He is taking fire from the tier 4 structure. He needs to back off a little bit. Or just make a mass retreat. Interesting play. I guess that didn't quite go the way Price wanted it to. He now has to make a full retreat through all of Dbmb's forces, but without some big damage sources like the flag half-track. I'm pretty sure every squad's going to get away alive. Ooh, a flamethrower bursts in the retreat path, though. Ouch, and that takes out 2 squads, 2 of Price's 7 squads. That actually really hurt. That flamethrower burst was a pretty lucky break for Dbmb right there. Price actually cruised the flak. Flak emplacement. Grenade tossed by Folks Grenadiers to clear it back out. Doesn't quite work though. Rear echelon troops hanging out in this area are going to stall the capture of this territory. The Easy 8 crew is repairing on the cutoff to get that back under control, and Price down to only 5 rifles, and his lieutenant now is going to be significantly weakened for his next push. Dbmb is purchasing a squad of Obersoldaten, and they may be able to help, depending on how quickly they get focus fired down by flamethrowers or lucky bazooka hits, though. It's going to be tough. He's been doing a pretty okay job of keeping Price at bay thus far. And the tier 4 structure is a pretty difficult thing to take down using only smoke grenades, flamethrowers, and bazookas, so we'll see what happens. Leapfrogging Smoke, making his way forward. And he is going to try and take out the structure, but he gets suppressed by the Kubel wagon. Everything is pinned, and he's forced to retreat. That push does not work. If he doesn't get rid of the other suppression sources, that Kubel wagon is still alive. The MG34 right there is still alive. He needs to focus those things down before he tries to take out the structure. He barely even touched it. And he's forced completely off the map again. But of course, still has quite strong fuel income. Not as strong as earlier when he held this point, but still respectable. The more and more Easy 8s he amasses, the better of a position he's going to be in. Easy 8 gets a big hit on those Folks Grenadiers. They'll be forced to retreat. And if Price manages to mass the munitions for a white phosphorus barrage, he might be able to utilize that in his next push. Folks Grenadier blob chasing down this Easy 8. Needs to round this corner and get back to safety. Should be fine as long as no more shots connect. And Price's infantry forces, while struggling to make pushes against Dbmb's base, should have no problem keeping this tiny little blob of Folks Grenadiers off his side of the map. And the Obersoldaten squad is making its way across the right to get some territory under control. MG34 moving up into some green cover right here as well. And Price still doesn't even have Vet 1 on his captain because his other captain got wiped. But Smoke will protect him from the Kubel wagon briefly. We'll get unsuppressed soon. And I think we might be looking at a wipe right there. Barely gets away through the smoke grenade. Captain is Vet 1, he can utilize on me if he wants. This could be a wipe. I have no idea if that's going to survive. Bazooka snipe on one model. If he had used on me, I'm pretty sure that was a wipe for sure. He uses it a little late. Charging straight towards the Kuba wagon and MG34. Gets suppressed again after the invulnerability ends, although a lucky hit from a bazooka, I think, damaged the engine. Either a lucky hit from a bazooka or anti-tank rifle grenade from the blob. That Kuba wagon looks like it's going to survive again, somehow. And the rear echelons take control of the center victory point and are moving to get the left side fuel, while the Easy-8's been fully repaired and is making its way into the next engagement. Volksgrenadier grenade doesn't really do anything. They're going to be forced to retreat quite quickly. And Price is going to push into Dbmb's base again, taking a very wide route this time, straight through the north, I think. Maybe he changed his mind, I don't know. Easy-8 firing on the Obers in the center. The whole blob retreats and rear echelon troops move to take control of this strategic point.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
And the second Easy-8 is rolling onto the field. Dbmb still has no vehicle of his own. He's maybe going for Panther. I don't even know. If he goes straight for King Tiger, he might just be trying to survive to King Tiger. The game looks like it's going to last long enough for him to make it, honestly. The victory points have barely been touched. Still about 300 left for both of them. Price could probably move his ambulance up out of his base a little bit to reinforce and heal slightly more aggressively. The counter blob is getting pretty big now. Obersoldaten in the mix. Very high vet core of Volksgrenadiers, Sturm Pioneers, and Obers as a damage source. Kuba wagon is still alive as a suppression source, and it repairs itself automatically now that it's vet 3. Rakettenwerfer is available for anti-Easy-8 duties as well. Easy-8's gonna go in hard on this blob. It's so clumped, he needs to spread out. If he deploys smoke, his opponent will be forced to attack ground just to hit him, but the Rakettenwerfer placement's quite good. That Easy-8 will go down. It will go down, and Price doesn't execute a crush maneuver at all. Didn't take out a single infantry model, and he loses his Easy-8. Meanwhile, all of Price's infantry is heading towards the center, but Dbmb has perfectly full knowledge of all of his movements because of the IR half-track. If you're going to be in a 45-minute slugfest against Captain Price, I guess it doesn't hurt to throw this unit on the field because it's not that expensive, and I don't know, why not? You'll get vision. Riflemen moving up to start brute forcing the tech structure down. If they don't get suppressed by a Kuba wagon or a machine gun or something, this machine gun just set up backwards. Whether a misclick or what, I don't know. That squad's got to retreat. The lieutenant over here has to retreat. The Easy-8 not moving to engage because I assume because of the Pack 43, but wow, look at that. Just using riflemen with smoke, flamethrowers, and bazookas, he walks up and destroys that structure while all of the screening troops are occupied, taking control of the left side. Nice split engagement by Price right there, occupying all of his opponent's attention on the left with his tanks, and then going straight up the middle with his infantry and taking that thing out using smoke and attack ground. Dbmb just could not quite stop it. Kuba wagon just walked right into that Easy-8. Oh, it's trying to bait him, I think. I don't know, maybe. Easy-8 gets clear of the arc of fire of that Rakettenwerfer. Needs to be careful here. There's one shot. I think he might go all the way against that Kuba wagon. Is it finally going to go down? Is that Kuba wagon's reign of terror going to come to an end? Yeah! Oh, it's abandoned! No more Vet 4 Kuba wagon, and he will finish it off. He's had enough of that thing. Doesn't want to get suppressed by a Kuba wagon 35 minutes into the game anymore if you can avoid it. Easy-8 looks like it might go down though. Yep, Panzerschreck finishes it off in the rear armor. Grenade tossed into the blob is a little off target, even though it's a bundle grenade. Still not enough damage. No on me. If it pops on me, it could wipe that. No on me. Maybe he's already used it. Yeah, he's already used it in this engagement. He will break suppression after everything is... What is this placement? That doesn't seem like a very good idea to me at all. I mean, okay. But I don't see how he's going to protect that, and I feel like it might get stolen. If that gets stolen and turned towards Dbmb, that would be catastrophic, and he has no way of stopping a rifle blob right now. I can't believe he did this. That is a terrible decision. That could lose him. That is a potentially game-losing placement on that Pack 43. I cannot believe he did that. That is the worst idea I have ever seen. That will get stolen. I almost guarantee it. If that does not get stolen by the end of this game, I will be speechless. I will be amazed at the masterful plays that DMB must have made to keep this thing under his control. I can't believe he built that there. What is he thinking? Lieutenant's already almost decrewed it by himself. Smoke grenade being deployed on the MG34 over there. 3 squads making their way to the left side. Oh man, and he has 270 fuel. He could get a King Tiger. Why would he build this? He finally has a counter to the infantry blobs, and he builds a Pack 43 on the center victory point. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Lieutenant will get chased away by 2 squads of Captain chased away by these 2 Volksgrenadier squads on the left. He's also getting the right side fuel back under his control. Captain Price keeping that rear echelon squad relevant even in the late game, always harassing undefended territories. This rifle blob is moving up to engage. No Captain in the mix. He'll have to use smoke to screen against that machine gun, Vet 4 machine gun, but if he can get unsuppressed, he may be able to pick up one of these Volksgrenadier squads on retreat with lucky flame crits. They're waiting a slightly long time to retreat. They're going really low. That was a late retreat. I don't know if they're going to make it. I don't think so. Oh no, and he just gave him a Panzerschreck. Oh god. At least the Stern Pyros managed to recover the Panzerschreck while Price is occupied trying to secure another wipe. Lieutenant and another rifle squad here in the center engaging that Volksgrenadier squad. There are no defenses on this Rakettenwerfer in Pack 43 at all. That is gonna get stolen. Flamethrower in red cover against Obers. Needs to be careful though. Pay attention. Tosses a grenade. He is watching the engagement. Forces the Obers out of cover. Runs up into the cover himself. Doesn't like it though. He's gonna retreat. Rakettenwerfer had to retreat, and that Pack 43 has been decrewed. No anything to protect it. 2 squads of riflemen heading up towards the base. They're probably going to destroy the IR half-track without anything to protect it. Lieutenant could crew this, but he hasn't done so yet. Just hanging out in the green cover sandbags around it. IR half-track has been destroyed. Vet 5 MG turns to fire on those squads as they retreat, but it will also be forced to retreat in turn. And I don't think Captain Price feels he can defend this position yet. Not going to crew that AT gun yet. But again, it's quite clear that Dbmb has no way of maintaining control of this position. Price lost 2 full squads of riflemen quite a while ago in a push straight into Dbmb's base. Since then, he's replaced one of those losses. He's back up to 6 squads, and he's also lost his captain at least once. He's lost his lieutenant at least once. He keeps repurchasing his officers so that he can get the special weapons for the slightly higher cost. Get out of that building. Oh, get out of that building. That building's going to go down. Gets out just in time. Rifleman on the flank. Nice positioning on that squad. These 2 squads moving up from the south. Everything has to retreat from the flamethrower blob. And Captain Price is going to take control of this Pack 43 again. This rifle squad moving up to this strategic point up here. And a couple squads are reinforcing here by Captain Price's base. Dbmb up to 330 fuel, but hurting manpower so badly that he can't seem to get that King Tiger out. That's probably going to be his next purchase. If he had not purchased this Pack 43 for whatever that was supposed to do, he would already have a King Tiger and probably be well on his way to winning the game, honestly. Captain Price is probably going to have to steal this, in fact, in order to win. He's going to need that huge anti-tank weapon, plus an infantry screen in front of it to fend off the King Tiger. He's going to have to push Dbmb back a lot further than he has so far if he's going to survive that King Tiger once it hits the field. U.S. forces taking control of the center VP, and over here on the left side, Stern Pios, Volksgrenadiers, MG34 going to work on those territories, try and hurt Price's economy a little bit. He's got the fuel for an easy 8, but against with this Pack 43 sitting right there, this one in the back probably doesn't, and this 4 Panzerschreck blob, he probably sees no real reason to get easy 8s at this time. Once the King Tiger's on the field, he may change his mind though. Flamethrowers in the retreat path of some wounded Volksgrenadiers again. MG's not set up, taking heavy damage, gonna get wiped. And there it goes. Ooh, Flamethrower squad pops, and those two have to retreat. Drop a bazooka on the ground as well. Almost loses both of those squads to heavy damage from that Obersoldaten squad. Ober's annihilating them, but MG34 gets cleared over here, which he looks like he may recover with those rear echelons while the rest of his forces move up over here to the right side. Kind of hurts to lose that bazooka. Apparently, Dbmb will decide to recover that. Nobody has even bothered to recover the Pack 43. Lieutenant chased away on the right side by a lone squad of Volksgrenadiers over there as well. These forces move to advance against the Obersoldaten, and everything will retreat. Price continues to work the left side of the map rather than the center. If he doesn't secure control of this area and that Pack 43 and turn it against his opponent, soon that King Tiger is going to probably seal the game. It's in production now. Captain Price has 3 squads with which to try and take control of this area permanently. That's a mistake by Price. It's 42 minutes into the game. He must know that King Tiger's coming. If he destroys this instead of stealing it, I mean, yeah, it denies it to his opponent, but I feel like that would have been a really nice thing to utilize against the King Tiger if possible. At the same time, it would probably be just as hard for Captain Price to maintain control of that as it is for Dbmb. It's too close to the center of the map. Neither of them can maintain control. I feel like it was worth an attempt though. I feel like it was worth at least trying. I don't know. With that Pack 43 destroyed, King Tiger will not have any serious threats to it on the battlefield at all. It will go pretty much completely uncountered until Captain Price fields something other than bazookas.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points. We're taking lead over here.
MG34 over here on the left side doesn't set up quite right. It needs to pull back. It's probably going to get wiped if it doesn't retreat right now. Stern Piles running into short range. They will get clear of the arc of fire. There it goes. Will retreat. Volksgrenadiers in the center, in cover, trying to grab the victory point. Price trying to take control of the entire map over here on the right side, but he will see the King Tiger now, and he will be forced to retreat soon if he doesn't want to lose any full squads. A couple shots on the rear armor of that King Tiger, plinking at its health a little bit. These 2 squads moving up on the left side, and Price will respond to the King Tiger by fielding an easy 8. He's gonna need something a little tougher than infantry if he's gonna make a play against that thing, but he does need to clear out the second Pack 43. Bazooka snipe from the captain forces a retreat from that Ober squad. Easy 8 moving up on the left for counter harassment. Stern Pioneers still on the field. Rifle squad has to retreat from the King Tiger. It's up to 3 kills. Hasn't done anything too nasty yet. No squad wipes. Captain moving up to grab the left side fuel. Rifleman in the center working on that as well. Victory points still not really going anywhere. 300 to 245 minutes into the game.
Capture complete. No enemy activity. Grenadiers back to full strength. now stand at 300 points.
Obersoldaten moving towards the munitions. Volksgrenadiers moving towards the fuel. And the clock has stopped once again. Volksgrenadiers throwing an S-mine field down in the center, and Captain Price is going to field the full might of his army towards the center.
Back to full strength.
Headphones died. It wouldn't be Star-Crossed Kings if my headphones don't die.
Target secure.
Mission accomplished.
Smash their lines. Americans have 200 points remaining.
So, all of Price's forces making their way towards the south. King Tiger rotating north. If I were Captain Price at this point, I would field an M20 and try and immobilize it with a mine. No mine. Dbmb doesn't even have a minesweeper. The last thing he's expecting is a mine, and I pretty much guarantee that. That would be my suggestion. Clearly, my Price and Captain Price's, or my style and Captain Price's style are not the same. However, so much for that easy 8. Dead. He's now going to drive straight into Price's base to kill the ambulance. I guess the one upside of this extraordinarily aggressive tank movement is that its rear armor is potentially a little exposed to Price's blobs, bazookas or something. I don't know. Ambulance is still alive. King Tiger's rear armor is still exposed to bazooka fire. There was a flak half-track over there. I didn't even know he made a flak half-track. Well, that didn't work very well. Just drove right up into some bazookas and died instantly, apparently. Interesting play. Over here on the left side, the stolen MG-34 is wiped by Obers and Sturmpios, which are both extremely high vet. Price's blob is probably going to try and pull something off against that King Tiger. With this sheer quantity of vet riflemen, he might be able to damage its engine. It's a little bit boxed in right now. He's probably going to take immense bleed in the attempt that he's about to make on this King Tiger. It's taking a little tiny bit of damage from bazooka fire on the frontal armor. There's the engine damage. I don't even know how many rifle grenades he just shot. It didn't look like any. Obersoldaten retreat path is compromised. Oh my god, the Sturms and Obers are gonna go down. And the King Tiger has an easy 8 on its flank. This play by Price. Oh my god. That King Tiger isn't gonna do anything. It extended itself way too far with not enough support, and it's dead. Wow. Honestly, truly, this is not how I was expecting the late game to go at all. Look at that. 3 squads wiped, King Tiger dead, Price takes no losses, and the game will turn back to Captain Price's favor once again. He didn't even lose his ambulance, actually. Ambulance is fine. I don't know why Dbmb didn't make take a more slow and steady approach. Wiping a squad at a time, kiting Price's blob, instead of diving straight into his base, getting cornered on the left side without support, and then taken out with engine damage and tank on the flank. Pretty much textbook play by Price right there to take out that King Tiger. I don't know what Dbmb was thinking. I really don't. I feel like he got a little cocky. He's like, I have King Tiger, I win now, or something. I don't know. I don't know what that was. But, yeah, bad news. Bad news. Jagdpanzer on the field. Really interesting. I don't know. I don't know what I think about that. I feel like only tier 4 units at this point make any sense. A Sturm Tiger makes more sense than this. A Sturm Tiger actually makes a frighteningly large amount of sense. But he doesn't have his tier 4 structure anymore. Doesn't want to wait. So he gets the Jagdpanzer just for light protection against the Easy 8s, I guess. Easy 8s are really only being utilized to take out priority targets and trade as necessary. The S minefield will be swept by the Minesweeper in this clump of troops. And it looks like the center VP will fall into Price's control. Overwhelming this machine gun with too much firepower for it to safely contend with, and the center VP is falling into Price's control. Pack 43 gets a hit against Easy 8, so that has to pull back to safety a little bit. Rifleman Swarm will continue to advance towards the cutoff and shut down all of Dbmb's economy, potentially take out a lot of troops here as well. Clump of Volksgrenadiers plus the Raketenwerfer right there. Smoke being deployed to give him a little bit of extra time to take out the Pack 43. If that thing gets destroyed by a bazooka fire, then Dbmb will be in a lot of trouble. He'll have no counter left on the field except for Panzerschrecks and the Jagdpanzer. There it goes, easily destroyed by the rifle blob. More smoke being deployed to buy the rifle swarm more time so they don't get suppressed, take out more targets, more manpower bleed, overwhelming everything in this position. That Volksgrenadier squad overextending itself through the smoke, taking so much damage. The Jagdpanzer exposed as well. Grenade into the blob, takes out a couple models, but nothing too serious. Price retreats a couple of his troops. Throws a counter grenade, doesn't really connect with anything. Another counter grenade, doesn't do that much either. But he has Dbmb pinned in his base. And he's really going to be very economically behind Price at this point, who could field another Easy 8 if he so chooses. Maybe just make more infantry, though. He may just choose to continue making infantry because Dbmb has only anti-tank counters remaining on the field.
Tank support is here. Sherman ready.
Nope, goes with the tank anyway. If he can make aggressive crush and flanking maneuvers on his opponents, Jagdpanzer and Volksgrenadier blob, he'll probably be fine as long as he continues to use smoke. Should be able to get this game under his control. He's actually behind in victory points. Every time he has to make a mass retreat, he loses control of the victory points. He does have a stolen MG34 that he might consider sending to the VP instead of the fuel, since VP is definitely getting a lot more important than fuel now. Nothing too urgent. The game probably still has legs, because it's Lankerskaya. But, he definitely is going to want to try and take a more significant map control lead if he can. Easy 8's been fully repaired. This one needs some light repairs. S minefield getting cleaned up by the Minesweeper right here for now. Captain Price continuing to simply heal up in his base. And here it comes. This push could be a pretty big one. It's going to be all of Price's forces fully healed and reinforced at the same time. Plus 2 Easy 8s. Has the potential to be a decisive engagement, also has the potential to be another mass retreat. As Dbmb tries to hold on to victory points for as long as he can. Blob gets suppressed by MG34 fire. Easy 8's moving up to support. Smoke deployed. A couple squads of Volksgrenadiers retreat. On me, just got used by the captain. Easy 8's trying to be a little bit hesitant here. The Jagdpanzer's a little scary. Flamethrowers charging into close range on the machine gun. Bringing it down quick. Grenade tossed as well. Just total chaos. Smoke everywhere. Can't see anything. Easy 8s are not going to advance any further. They don't have enough health and they don't want to get in range of the Jagdpanzer. The machine guns retreated. Volksgrenadier squad almost wiped. There it goes. Wiped. Panzerschreck on the ground. Price may recover that for even more anti-Jagdpanzer firepower if he has any free weapon slots, which he might not, honestly. I have no idea if he does. Rotates to fire on the MG34 right there with the flamethrowers, mass flamethrowers. On me is off cooldown. He utilizes it again. Huge damage on that Volksgrenadier squad from the flamethrower bursts. Continues to advance. The entire right side of the map has fallen into Price's control. Continues to deploy smoke as he makes his way forward. And the lieutenant is taking control of the right side fuel point as these two Shermans move up to push away the last MG on the field. This RNG blob. Bazooka snipes and flame crits. This is so scary. Grenade toss to force the retreat. I feel like Price should get a major. With a forward retreat point and an ambulance, he could do this so much more rapidly. Now he's going to lose control of the center victory point again. And the game's just going to be extended. He didn't really wipe anything except for one Panzerschreck squad, and he does recover the Panzerschreck, so that's good, but every time he retreats all of his forces back to his base, he loses victory point control when he should have a lead right now, just because of how hard he's blobbing. And he's got the MG34. He could at least try and cover the point with the MG or something.
The capture point is being overrun. What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits? Back to full strength. The Germans just cut off our supply lines.
I'm actually kind of surprised not to see a major with a forward retreat point set up. Just because you're a rifle company doesn't mean, and you have access to the Easy 8 doesn't mean you have to avoid getting a major.
Men are ready for action. All done over here. Spread out! Cover and fire!
The blob advances.
The capture point is under attack.
Smoke deployed.
HMG! Get down!
If this is the blob, then the smoke grenades look like pseudopods or tentacles or something. There's on me. That machine gun has to retreat. That one is also retreating. All machine guns have been forced off the field. Not too many crits or bazooka snipes on the machine gun. It looks like it'll get away alive this time. Maybe. No, it won't. Just kidding. Just kidding. Raketenwerfer, not being micro, just walked straight out into the battlefield and takes a huge flame crit. Oh no. I think he's going to destroy the weapons entirely. If he can. It's taking kind of a while. And he gets suppressed by an MG34 in the base, so he's pulling back. The two Easy 8s are available right here. I think if Dbmb advances too far out of his base with the Jagdpanzer, the Shermans are going to come in for a flank from the northwest. These two squads are in danger from the blob, which is making its way over now. On me, utilized. Full burst on that. Volksgrenadier squad forces the retreat. Full burst on that squad forces a retreat. Price not advancing with his tanks. Wow, the entire squad died to flame crits. A whole squad dead. This RNG blob. It's too strong. I'm sure Dbmb wishes he had not thrown that King Tiger away. Right now, he's getting bullied so hard just by riflemen walking in a tight clump, flamethrowing everything he has to death. He doesn't have very much map control right now. Advances to take control of a munitions point with this lonely machine gun. He's only got 5 squads left now. His manpower bleed has been just atrocious. He purchased another one of these things out of pure desperation. That's not going to do anything. The sheer quantity of bazookas is just going to get one-shotted, plus smoke. I mean, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic about what this is going to contribute this game. I think that these two wrecks are all the foreshadowing we need. But I mean, okay. I guess I applaud the attempt. Over here on the left side, we've got 3 Easy 8s available to contend as well. Captain Price well over pop cap at this point. I think he's poised to make a very decisive push. Only 2 Panzerschrecks and a Jagdpanzer and a Raketenwerfer on the field. That's not nearly enough to stop 3 Easy 8s. Massive blob of infantry notwithstanding. Thank you, Captain S. Blavarino. Thank you very much for your $1 donation. I'm glad that you. Thank you for your kind words. I'm glad that you like the show. Captain S. Blavarino is advancing into the Axis base with his Easy 8 blob, trying to take out the Jagdpanzer. 1 Easy 8 goes down, trying to brute force the end of the game, trying to seal the deal. Jagdpanzer down. The only anti-tank left on the field is 2 Raketenwerfers and 2 Panzerschrecks. Easy 8s taking shots at the flak half-track next, and it's probably going to be destroyed. Flak half-track preventing it from firing, pops it like a balloon, as expected. Raketenwerfer may take out the Sherman. It's retreating through smoke, though, so he has to use attack ground to finish it off. Might get away. Oh, the attack ground connects. Miracle hit. 2 Easy 8s down. Don't think it matters. Pretty sure CaptainSPrice has this game pretty much in the bag, unless, I don't know, unless Dbmb gets a miracle. Captain Price needs to shut his fuel income down a little bit harder. 19 coming in is still maybe enough to get a second King Tiger out, despite the loss of his flak half-track and Jagdpanzers. There's actually a lot of tank wrecks he can salvage to boost his fuel income. Again, I can't believe he hasn't salvaged anything. He actually probably could have another King Tiger by now if he would actually bother to salvage stuff. Maybe he just forgot that that's a thing Over Commando West can do. Look how much fuel is sitting on this battlefield. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 35 fuel. Not enough to get him to King Tiger because he just purchased another flak half-track for whatever reason, but I mean, there's a lot. I don't know why he wouldn't salvage, honestly. It's kind of weird. With his Volksgrenadiers, you don't have to salvage the Sturm Pioneers, you can salvage his Volksgrenadiers. Don't type in all caps at me if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Which one of us is the caster? Flamethrower blob advancing on the MG34. That's got to retreat. Smoke being deployed in front of the flak half-track to give him a little space. They're a little clumped for that flak burst. He cannot utilize on me, and this push will get shut down hard. The captain actually just got wiped. Just got wiped. He finally gets value out of a flak half-track. Look at that. MG34 defending here in the center. Easy 8 fully repaired here in the back. Tries to set up a triple cap over here. Double bazookas on the REs actually do a lot of damage to that thing, but it will force them away. Gets them suppressed, forces them off the field. Dbmb gets a little bit of pressure alleviated thanks to that push kind of failing terribly. Smoke being deployed. Easy 8 moving left to push away that Volksgrenadier squad. Second Easy 8 on the field. Probably going to be able to outproduce his opponent very soon. Again, very little anti-tank remains. Only machine guns. He's just making just machine guns. Just to try and stop the blob, which means he's now going to be quite weak to this 2 Easy 8 composition. And again, I really definitely think a major would have been a nice call. If he's going to just blob his way into his opponent's base all game long, the major retreat point is an integral part of any blob-centric strategy, and I'm kind of surprised he hasn't purchased one. It's causing the amount of time between his pushes to be really long because he retreats all the way off the battlefield. He's losing map control as a result, losing victory points. He's almost pulled into the lead. But every time he makes this mass retreat, it extends the length of the game, gives his opponent more time to field more counters. He just keeps going flak half-track Jagdpanzer though. I truly don't understand that. The King Tiger is the best option. It really is. Maybe not for his particular style of right-click the King Tiger into the enemy base. But it would be so much more effective if supported by the rest of his army. A Stuka might be a good call too, honestly. I'm actually a little bit surprised not to see one of those throughout the course of an hour-long game against nothing but rifle blobs. A little weird. Easy 8 moves up to fire on the flak half-track. That's going to be forced away. Easy 8 falling dangerously low here. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to seal the deal if it doesn't deploy smoke. That Raketenwerfer is probably going to take it out. There is a Panzerschreck here in the base. Easy 8 dives into the smokes for a little bit of protection. And the Panzerschreck shot will connect. Easy 8 is destroyed. CaptainSPrice pulling back a little bit more. Needs to reconstitute himself in his base. Going to lose more victory points, more time. Having trouble dealing with this particular flak half-track. If he had moved the second Easy 8 in for that push as well, he might have had a little bit more success. I don't know. CaptainSPrice is slipping a little bit here. He is slipping. The loss of that Easy 8 definitely hurts. Flanking from the right side with these forces. Machine gun gets wiped. Rear echelon troops moving up with bazookas might be a threat once that smoke clears. 2 squads are not suppressed. Everything needs to pull back. 1 machine gun left to screen against this advance, but there is smoke everywhere. And he's actually spread out quite nicely for this advance. And spreading his troops this way may win him this engagement if he can get some bazookas in range on that thing. It's now Vet 2, so it sets up pretty quick. I think that's engine damage and a dead flak half-track, though. That's what it looks like. No anti-tank rifle grenade. And it will pull back to safety. This time, MG34 set up on the left and right flanks will force retreats from this force. CaptainSPrice forced off the field again. Steals an MG34 though, again. Rear echelon troops are working on some territory over here. Split this squad off from the blob as well. Against only MGs. He really needs to spread out. If he doesn't start spreading his troops out, he's just going to get suppressed. I don't know why he keeps running straight for the base either. He just needs to take and hold the center VP and then rotate out, shut off his opponent's economy, get a triple cap going. Keeps on running straight for the cutoff across this open field, getting slowly mowed down by machine guns in the flak half-track, which he still has failed to destroy. I feel like he had a massive lead just a little while ago, and he's squandered it a little bit. And I also feel like Dbmb had the ability to get another King Tiger ages ago, and has purchased these 2 early/mid-game units instead. And I don't feel like either of them is making the most efficient decisions. But at the same time, it's an hour and 8-minute long game, and nobody has ever made efficient decisions an hour and 8 minutes into a game of COH2. Stolen MG34 moving up to engage this one. And this series looks like it's going to be possibly one of the longest series I've ever cast. Even longer than Red Wings vs. Price. Bazookas engaging. Full squad of riflemen just got wiped right there. Price getting weaker and weaker on every push because of that flak half-track, which is apparently turning out to be a great decision. Easy 8 might go down to Raketenwerfer and 1 squad of Volksgrenadiers. Oh no! That was terrible. I think we might be looking at Dbmb winning this game if CaptainSPrice doesn't get his head back in the game. Easy 8 dying to this tiny little force over here for no reason. I don't know what those rear echelon troops are doing. Lieutenant retreating away from the flak half-track right there. S-Minefield wipes the lieutenant on the retreat. That's another squad loss for Captain Price. His army's looking a little small now compared to his opponent, who bought an infantry support gun. It's kind of an edgy late game decision. I like it. Let's see if that pays off. He's clearly trying to experiment and find a proper counter to this rifle company strategy his opponent is employing. Volksgrenadier spam obviously isn't going to cut it. Throwing up another tier 4 structure for more suppression, more defense against what Captain Price is doing. I don't know what Captain Price is going to do next. Looks like he's throwing out some extra rear echelon troops. He just wants more capping power. I think he might be tired of sending his riflemen to cap when he wants to be fighting. So he's going to get out some extra rear echelons. Pretty fun decision. I think he probably could have done that a while ago. His capping has just been so non-existent this game. It's kind of a shame. Especially when rear echelon troops are so cheap. You'd think in an hour and 10-minute game you could squeeze out a few extra capping squads, non-combat squads, to take territory when you're making huge pushes up the middle of the map, taking out priority targets with a giant RNG blob, and then just leaving all of the territory uncaptured because of it. Sort of a shame. We're going to see a lot of bazookas purchased on the rear echelons, I think. Americans down to 75 points remaining. Definitely needs to make something happen. With the sheer volume of bazookas he just purchased, might be able to take out the flak half-track, open things up for his riflemen, but the spread of machine guns on this tactical map, plus the threat of suppression from the infantry support gun, and the tier 4 structure over there is going to make things quite difficult. Riflemen retreating away from the flak half-track right there. They barely get away. Black half-track is now Vet 3, has engine damage, but Captain Price with no tanks remaining cannot follow up. This battlefield looks so strange. It's kind of funny how the meta no longer makes any difference when you've made it an hour and 11 minutes into the game, and both of the players are just trying to figure out what the other person is doing and puzzle out what the best solution is for themselves. I mean, there used to be a Pack 43 right there. Pack 43 then randomly built in the middle, then a King Tiger base dived, and now we're back to flak half-tracks and Yag Panzers and infantry support guns. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting looking battlefield. Another squad of riflemen gets wiped. This squad on the left in danger, needs to pull back. Those S-Minefields, he needs to stop retreating through S-Minefields. It's painful. How's the infantry support gun doing? 2 kills. I haven't seen it suppress anything yet, so I don't think it's had that dramatic of an impact, but Captain Price, there it goes. Captain Price hasn't really made much of a push for the right side at all. His pushes are getting more and more feeble. Dbmb's forces are getting more and more strong. 2 fresh squads of Volksgrenadiers thrown out. Zeroing artillery just got deployed somewhere. Over here, I guess. Kind of around where the US base is, but he doesn't have vision, so doesn't make that much difference. That's going to end without really hitting anything. It's a lot of munitions, 300 munitions to utilize without vision. Definitely needed to scout for that artillery. Probably could have picked up a lot of kills. It's kind of a shame.
We're left with 50 points.
No transfer abilities active for Dbmbs. Up to 4327 resource incomes. With a flak half-track Jagdpanzer on the field, maybe now it'll transition into something else. I don't even know. King Tiger, maybe. He doesn't quite have the supply for that, though. He'd have to let one of his infantry squads die or something. Price needs to be careful about the suppression of that infantry support gun. If he clumps too hard and an infantry support gun suppresses the whole blob, that will be problematic. Sherman providing smoke for the push here. Tries to get control of the center of victory point and turn the clock back in his favor. Easy-8 getting oddly aggressive. Oddly aggressive against that Jagdpanzer. There's Panzer Shreks for Kenworfers. That's not going to happen. That's a dead Easy-8. I don't know what he was thinking with that. Black half-track is nicely positioned for this push, and he is completely pushed off the field. MG34 steps up into the capture circle to try and get the clock ticking in his favor again, but with only 37 points remaining, hour and 15 minutes into the game, it looks like Dbmb is going to push him off the victory point and get the victory points ticking against Price again. And I think Price has lost control of this game. I think he's going to lose. Folks Grenadier squad's taking control of the center point. If that squad makes it to the left side point and sets up a triple cap, that's GG.
We're losing a capture point. Krauts have cut our supply lines. Frontline units are
Physics.
being hung out to dry. All done over here. Taking fire. We're on the hook over here.
Couldn't set up a triple cap, but he may not need to. Only 30 points remain, and Price shows no signs of being able to break through this. Flag half-track shooting, just attacking ground through the smoke. It's Vet 3. Vet 4! Wow. Vet 4. Infantry support gun also being a nuisance. Captain Price clearly isn't sure what to do. I think he's just lost too much. Dbmb has 1,000 manpower and fuel in the bank, 100 victory points, wish to enact a comeback should he get pushed away. Clock is ticking.
Bazooka to the rear. They got us down to 25 points.
25 points.
AT gun ready. On the hook over here. Men down. Hit that man. We're taking fire.
Wow, Captain Price made an AT gun. That's new.
Under fire. Under attack. We're coming up on
Black half-track will pull back away from the threat of the AT gun. Riflemen almost suicidally making an attempt at the victory point because they have no choice. Under infantry support gun fire, machine gun fire, Folks Grenadier fire.
They're hitting our flank.
He will stop the clock.
We're down to 10 points.
Briefly. Folks Grenadiers moving up into the capture circle to turn it back in his favor. Black half-track sort of in range to support. The AT gun has fallen extremely low and will be cleared.
Gun crew just got wiped out.
Black half-track moves up into close range now that the AT gun's been dealt with. And will annihilate those riflemen easily. Flamethrower bursts. Come on, Dbmb, just move anything into the capture circle. Move your Kettenwerfer up. This has just gotten depressing. Hour and 20-minute game. Finally, some Folks Grenadiers moving up into the capture circle. Oh God, Captain Price. Just accept it. Accept defeat. You cannot win this. So many American lives being sacrificed. Oh, the humanity. There it is. Victory point falls into Dbmb's possession. Price has really got nothing left. And after 2 Pack 43s, a King Tiger, 2 Jagdpanzers, 3 Flak half-tracks, I don't know, 9 Easy 8s maybe? 9! Oh man, I guessed right. I'm proud of myself. We have finally made it to the end of the longest game of Company of Heroes, I think, that I've ever cast. An hour and 20 minutes. Almost. An hour 19. Captain Price breaking all records for game length apparently in Starcross Kings. It's probably getting late in Europe, but here we go. Game 2 after a short break.